Republican Representative Thomas Massie has been one of the few lawmakers to openly criticize Israel's influence on the American government. And just last week, he went further than honestly most Democrats are willing to go, writing, "Nothing can justify the number of civilian casualties, tens of thousands of women and children, inflicted by Israel in Gaza in the last 2 years. We should end all US military aid to Israel now." So I want to just-
Here, American hero.
I just want to pause and comment on the fact that for the longest time, Thomas Massie has focused his disagreement with supporting Israel's war by saying that we are using our finite resources and sending it to a foreign country to carry out what they're carrying out in Gaza. He was less willing to be as critical of how Israel is prosecuting this war as he is right now. And I commend him for that, because it is true, tens of thousands, likely more, civilians have been killed in Gaza, and it is a moral issue that he's drawing attention to. But that did earn Massie a lot of criticism, and he didn't back down. So one person wrote in response, "You just told us you're not a Christian without saying it." So for this person who accuses him of not being a Christian, what does Christianity mean to this person exactly? Christianity requires you to slaughter innocent civilians in Gaza on behalf of a foreign country. You're supposed to support that with weapons, with American tax dollars. How does that make any sense? I mean, I literally went to Sunday school every Sunday from, I think, age 3 to age 19. I don't remember reading anything about that in the Bible. What kind of Christianity is this? What kind of disgusting distortion of Christianity is that? Massie responded by saying, "I disagree with your version of Christianity if it requires endorsing the deaths of women and children on behalf of any country." Now, another figure who spoke out against Israel's conduct in Gaza was former State Department spokesperson, if you can believe it, Matt Miller. Suddenly, Matt Miller found his morality. Now, he served under the Biden administration, and there were no brakes on that car when it came to Israel. Okay, never any pressure to sign a ceasefire deal. That was made abundantly clear by the Israeli ambassador to the United States, who said, "We never felt any pressure from Biden to engage in a ceasefire deal." Now, with that in mind, if you've been watching the show for a while, you probably remember that we've played many clips of Miller essentially downplaying Israel's war crimes. And now he's changed his tune. I wonder what happened. Here's what he said. "I think what is most certainly not an open question is that there have been individual incidents that have been war crimes where Israeli soldiers, members of the Israeli military, have committed war crimes." Even that statement, by the way, is just minimizing the fact that the Israeli government has been ordering all of these terrible atrocities that have been carried out in Gaza. Okay, acting as if it's like, oh, there's just a few bad apples in the IDF, please. We've all heard the statements from Smotrich, Ben-Gvir, Netanyahu himself. He continues, "The thing that I look back on is in that intervening period between the end of May and the middle of January 2025, when thousands of Palestinians, innocent civilians, were killed, was there more that we could have done to pressure the Israeli government to agree to that ceasefire? I think at times there probably was." No, not probably, Matt, not probably, definitely. And he has as much blood on his hands as other Biden administration officials who allowed this to keep going on into the Trump administration. Okay, they're just as liable for the slaughters that have happened in the Gaza Strip as the current government in the United States is.
Yeah, so Biden barely functioned. So it was guys like Matt Miller and Jake Sullivan and Anthony Blinken who made the decisions. So who are you kidding, Matt? Now after you're out of power, Israel committed some war crimes. I'm innocent. I called it out after I left power. No. You're 100% guilty. You didn't call out anything. Few bad apples. The IDF lies every single time. And who was their top spokesperson in America? You were, Matt. You were. You would come out and parrot their obvious lies that you knew were lies, and you would do it on purpose. And you would do it to continue the genocide. You thought, well, the money's pouring in from AIPAC. It's #1 donor for Joe Biden throughout his career. $5 million to Kamala Harris. I know, Matt. Oh, I didn't know about the donors. In Washington, We don't know anything about donors. AIPAC was the #1 donor in this election cycle to members of Congress. Well, Matty Miller wouldn't know that. He was too busy controlling Biden and telling him, go pro-genocide, more killing, send him more money, send him more money. Hey, Matt, when you were sending them $20 billion for the genocide, did you know then? Oh, yeah, I'm not guilty afterwards. No, you're definitely guilty, okay? So, and by the way, people like him and Blinken are gonna wanna go back into the government next time there's a Democrat. No, we learned our lessons, we're fine. Israel, don't worry, we got your back. We're sending 20 billion, you wanna do a new genocide, a new anything, we'll do it for you. Oh, please, Matt, shut up. At least have the decency to shut up after you got all that blood all over your hands and you didn't do a goddamn thing about it. Okay, so, Marjorie Taylor Greene also came on this show and said we should stop funding Israel. Okay, so there's a MAGA rebellion. Look, for the folks on the
There's a difference though, Cenk. There is a difference. So look, talk is cheap, and so if Marjorie Taylor Greene is actually willing to put her words into action by voting against a budget or against additional funding to Israel, okay, great. I haven't seen it yet. And that's different when it comes to Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie has actually put action into his words.
Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you, because you could watch it yourself and you should watch it on our YouTube channel, okay? So Marjorie Taylor Greene at least did this. So they proposed a bill that if you advocate for the boycott of Israel, that the American government would punish you. Because how dare you defy a foreign government? And it was MAGA that led a revolt against that. And yes, it was Marjorie Taylor Greene who did it, okay? So I disagree with her on over 90% of policies. But if you can't see that that's a win, so did we want that bill? Where you'd like if you called for a boycott of Israel, the American government would crack down on you? No, we didn't want that bill. So guys, there is an actual rebellion. Now the only question is, how far is it gonna go? And if they lose Trump, are they actually going to actively say, no, Trump is wrong, and we should not go to war with Iran, and we should not do what Israel wants. And Anna, you're right, there's a second distinction between Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene basically says, and again, you can watch the interview, but overall, she doesn't put a lot of thought or concern about the Palestinian people, okay? She just says, I don't want to send any more money. I'm sick of it, so I'm done with it, right? Which I'll take. But Massie went further and said, how many tens of thousands of women and children do you need to kill? No, I'm against the killing and I'm against sending money. Thank you, Tom Massie. Oh, Tom Massie's one of the most conservative Republicans. Oh, you are a traitor. You supported Thomas Massie for doing the right thing. He's a Republican, so you should encourage him to do the wrong. What? No, yeah, if he does the right thing, I give him credit. Because I care about truth, I care about policy, I care about results. I hope there's 100 Tom Massies out there who says, no, enough, God, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. Enough spending our money. They take it out of our checks every single time you got a check. They took a piece out of that to send to Israel to kill more Palestinian women and children. Thomas Massie's 100% right about this. And yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene is right about this, and the funding. Don't let Israel control America. And if you think Israel's not controlling America, and it's like such a huge deal that 2 Republicans turned on Israel and saying we shouldn't give them funding, why is that such a big deal? They say that about every other country, literally every other country. But it's a giant deal that we have a couple of Republicans who are like, we'll also include Israel and be principled. What? How could you? Don't you know that you all should work for Israel?
Yep.
Okay, so they declared independence on that, and I respect it. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.